Hey everyone, this is Caitlin again. I want to welcome you to Grace Week. This is a time we set aside every year to honor the week leading up to Good Friday and Easter Sunday. Once again this year, our good friend and my uncle's Pastor Pete Wilson joins Unscripted. Our friends Tori and Shauna join us too. This year, we look at Luke chapter 6. Pastor Pete will walk us through the community of the withered hand. We invite you to join us on the Unscripted, but most importantly, join the community of the withered hand. Now, here's my Uncle Aaron and his pastor, Pete Wilson.
Hey everyone, this is Aaron. Today is day 3 of Grace Week, and I'm telling you to buckle in. Today is the truth about me. And so I'm going to share some truth about me. Pastor Pete shared some truth about him in his original series and sermon. Today's going to be heavy, I think. But it's day 3 of Grace Week. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for, if you've shared it, thank you for that. But today is the truth about me. And again, stay tuned for a very special song from our friends Tori and Shauna. Here's the truth about me. You said the truth about me. And man, it's so weird to me that I wrote a blog post, back when blogs were cool. I think that's when we probably first met, was when blogs were cool. So. We both had one. But man, I wrote a blog post, and it was called, I Hope You See Jesus. In that post, it was one of the most powerful posts I wrote, because many people came to me, especially men, friends came to me afterwards and like, dude, that was incredible. And I just want to share what I said, because you shared some things in the message. I said, I hide, I act, I show a smile, and I die on the inside. I want to show no signs of failure, but I rarely am anything but. My internal thoughts are dark, depressing, and often rude. I have a really hard time with forgiveness and saying I'm sorry. I bury bitterness, anger, doubt, and fear so deep that it surfaces and it's much worse. I live in fear of so many things. At times, I lose grip with reality. I'm broken and damaged. I have a past that haunts me. I'm selfish. I fear being irrelevant. I have addictions that are like bondage that won't release me from their grips. I wrestle with and sometimes lose faith. I'm judgmental. And the last thing that I said there is, I'm afraid you'll forget me when I'm gone. Man, I wrote that in 2010, and I don't know that any of those things are different. And so you said in your message, the truth about me. And so, Pete, that's the truth about me. Yeah. For anybody listening today, that's the truth about me. And it may always be until one day I'm not here anymore. And I said, I'm afraid you'll forget me when I'm gone. And I hope people don't. I hope I somehow I figure those things out. I hope I stand up and show my shriveled hand so I don't have to do with a lot of that. But I have a feeling a lot of people probably can relate to that, because I know when I posted it back in 2010, a lot of guys did.
Absolutely. Because it was honest, right? I mean, and thank you for that. Thank you for being brave enough to share that, to expose that. And the fact that you got the response you did tells me that there's a lot of other people who feel the same way. Right. They just haven't found a platform or even the words to communicate it. Right. But you used your platform and your words to communicate what was going on inside of you internally. Mm-hmm. And I think you make a great point. Like it's when you talk about, there's still a lot of those things that are true. Like this is a long journey. Right? Yeah. It's a long journey, and one that we never actually fully arrive at this side of heaven. I don't think so. I think we're always a work in progress, and being honest about that. I think where we get in real danger is when we get to this place where we do think, hey, I've made it. I've got it all together. You know, I've fixed it all. I got all the issues out of the way. Yeah. Man, you're setting yourself up right there for a huge fall. And I think, again, it's that there's this interesting book I read years ago. It's not a spiritual book. It's called The Gap and the Gain. And it's more of a self-improvement type book. But the principle in it is something I've never forgotten. And I think it applies also to our spirituality and becoming more like Jesus. And essentially what he said is, everybody has this spot that they're at, right? And they have this ideal, this place they're trying to get to. And that could be a business goal. It could be a character that they're wanting to develop, whatever, right? And we're always looking at this gap between where we are and where we want to be. And we tend to think that that gap is what motivates us in life, right?
Mm.
Because you're looking and you want to be here. So but the reality is, even as you're improving, you get to your ideal. The way we're wired, you just move the ideal.
That's right.
You'll move the goal.
Yep.
And so you never actually feel like you make it ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his whole point was, instead of always measuring yourself from here to this ideal, measure yourself from here to where you used to be.
Mm.
Like, look how far you've come.
Right.
Look at some of the things that you have tackled and you've overcome and that have made you a better person today. And it's from looking at the gain that actually motivates you to continue to move forward. And I think that's really true. I think
Mm.
even as Christians, we're always moving that mark, that target, right? And so you always feel like you're on this treadmill and you never get there. But if you look back, and I think this would be true of you, Aaron, if you look back, you've come a long way, man. Like,
Yeah.
you've
Thank
conquered
you.
a lot of things and you're doing
Yeah.
well. So to recognize that, but still embrace the fact that you believe God's still got a lot of work to do in you. That's, how do you hold those two things
Yeah.
simultaneously? Being proud of the work God's already done in your life, but also knowing there's more to be done. If you can find a balance with that, I think therein lies a lot of the contentment and peace that we're all looking for.
This is going to be a horrible analogy, but I gained a ton of weight over the years, right? And there's reasons for that. But I've lost a lot, but I'm not who I used to be. I'm not where I want to be. To your point, I'm not who I want to be. And so when I go to my closet and a hoodie that didn't fit before fits now, man, that feels so good to me. Like, I'm excited and I wear it out and nobody says anything. And I'm like, dang, like, I thought everybody realized I'm fitting in a hoodie I used to fit in. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yep,
Like, or a t-shirt,
absolutely.
right? And, or I notched a few more belt loops. You know what I mean? I'm up a few more belts. Well, nobody sees my belt. And honestly, until you have that, like, massive weight loss and then you put your side by sides up, the people that deal with you every day, they probably don't notice these little changes. This is a terrible analogy, or maybe it's not, I don't know, but I think, they don't notice the little changes, but you're excited, you're feeling good about the changes that you've made in your life. And so that's what I would encourage people is, man, we see it. And just because somebody doesn't say it, until you're at that place where they're like, man, you've lost a ton of weight. Or here's the other thing I would say is, when somebody notices you lost a little weight, like, hey, man, you lost a little weight, man, that feels so good, because they're seeing the change in our life. To your point, I'm not the whatever size I was before, I'm here now. And so acknowledge, don't try to look too far ahead to where you want to be in your old high school weight. You know what I'm saying? Look back at where you were and know where you are today. And that this morning, when you put on your belt, you moved up one more little loop. Man, celebrate that. And other people may not. They may not, because it's not a seismic shift. For some people, faith-wise, it may be a seismic shift. It could be a complete transformation. But for some people, it's a process. I don't know. That's a really bad analogy, but hopefully you stuck with me through it.
No, yeah, I get that. And it brought to my mind, because in that message I talked a little bit, and we'll probably get there in a second, but I talked a little bit about AA and the community that they've created. And there's a saying in AA, they say a lot, and that is one day at a time. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, because I think they think if someone gets too far ahead, right, it starts to feel overwhelming. Like, I've talked with alcoholics before and said, hey, do you think you'll ever drink again? And most of them will answer similarly. They'll be like, to be honest with you, I don't know, but I'm going to be sober today. I'm sober today. And it's not them copping out. It's not them leaving this window open for maybe I'll go out and get drunk next week. I think what they're saying is, all I can handle is today. Like, one day at a time. Yeah. And you start stacking those days, right? And those days become weeks, and the weeks become months, and months become years. And I just think there's a lot of wisdom in that. And we could apply that too for the parts of our life that we need spiritual healing in. It's just one day at a time. Don't start making crazy promises. You're never going to make that mistake again. It's one day at a time.
Today is the launch of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I
And
know you're excited about that.
I'm so excited. I think as a former coach, if you come out and all of a sudden the other team hits you with a 10-0 run, you can call timeout. They're going to come over and you're going to say, let's just focus on the next 4 minutes. Not winning this tournament. To your point. Right. Let's not focus on winning this tournament. Let's not focus on winning this game. Let's just focus on the next 4 minutes, because I need y'all to lock in for the next 4 minutes or we're going to lose this game and we're not going to be in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the truth in life too, is it's like, let's just focus on, as you said, today. So I do want to transition to that because it hit me really hard when you talked about the community of the withered hand. And I think for those listening that hit hard too. You launched kind of into that message with the message of AA. I've been to an AA meeting. I'll go ahead and say it. I'll show my withered hand. I have been to an AA meeting, and I've sat next to a man who was there for 46 years. 46 years. And he's still there on a Friday night, going back to a meeting, to your point about one day at a time.
The love of God is greater far than tongue or pen could ever tell. It goes beyond the highest star and reaches to the lowest hell. The guilty pair bow down with care. God gave His Son to win His
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. Make sure to review and share wherever you listen to your podcast. It really helps out our mission to encourage everyone to live life unscripted. Until next time, keep living life unscripted.